Pause for a second and stay here before you scroll away. If these words found you today, maybe it is not as random as it looks. Maybe it is more than a passing moment on your screen. Something deep inside you may have been looking for this, and somehow this message found its way back to you. So stay with me for a little while, because this matters. Bring that special person into your mind right now. See their face clearly. Let yourself feel what happens in your chest when you think of them. That soft pull, that warmth, that ache, that strange feeling you cannot fully explain. It is not nonsense. It is not you being dramatic. It is your heart noticing something your mind is still trying to understand. Because this person may not have entered your life by chance. On a deeper level, something in you may already know them in a way words cannot explain. And yes, I know how tiring it is to hold a love this strong, while everything around it feels unclear. The late nights, the silence, the wondering, the private questions you ask yourself when nobody is around. Am I making this up? Did I read too much into it? Will any of this matter in the end? Listen closely. It matters more than you think. You are not foolish for feeling this. You are not weak for caring this much. You are standing inside something that could be deeply meaningful, and that is exactly why it feels so heavy right now. Keep listening, because the next part may explain more than you expected. Some connections do not just touch the surface. They go straight to the hidden places. They reach the parts of us we spent years trying to protect, control, or keep out of sight. That is why this kind of bond can feel beautiful and painful at the same time. A lot of people think love should feel like rest from the start, like stepping into calm water after fighting waves for years. But the connections that truly change us often arrive like a storm before they bring peace. They shake the old patterns loose. They expose fear, pride, emotional walls, survival habits, and the quiet ways we learn to protect ourselves. At first, that does not feel like growth. It feels like your whole world is coming apart. When someone reaches a place inside you that nobody else could reach, your usual defenses stop working. The person who always gives too much starts to see how tired they are from proving their worth all the time. They begin to ask why love had to be earned through patience, sacrifice, and emotional work. That question hurts because it forces them to face a painful idea. Maybe they were taught that love must be won, instead of knowing they deserved it just by being alive. At the same time, the other person may be facing a different fear. Maybe they learned to survive by staying distant. Maybe closeness became linked to pain, disappointment, betrayal, or loss. Their body learned to treat real intimacy like danger, so they pull back. Not because the bond means nothing, but because it means too much. On the outside it can look like one person is chasing, while the other one creates space. But under the surface, it is often two hurt people reacting to the same fear in different ways. One fears being left, the other fears being consumed. One reaches out harder, the other steps away faster. And both are carrying pain. Stay with me, because this changes how you see everything. The one who pursues must learn that losing themselves is too high a price for any connection. Their worth is not measured by how much pain they can tolerate, how long they can wait, or how much of themselves they can give away just to feel chosen. The person who pulls back often carries the opposite wound, deep inside. They may believe that if someone gets too close, they will lose freedom, disappoint the other person, or end up trapped inside feelings they do not know how to handle. So the moment things become real, distance feels safer. But that distance does not bring the peace they hoped for. Most of the time it brings guilt, confusion, loneliness, and a sharper awareness of how much they truly care. Avoiding vulnerability may protect them for a while, but it also blocks the love they quietly want. This is why healing looks messy in the beginning. It can look like mixed signals. It can look like silence. It can look like fear, inconsistency, or emotional overload while someone is trying to understand themselves. Growth rarely looks graceful at first. Before a caterpillar becomes something new, it dissolves inside the cocoon. Real change always asks for some kind of ending first. Not the end of life, but the end of old masks, old defenses, old beliefs that cannot survive deeper love. That is why this kind of connection feels almost unbearable at times. It shows you how badly you want closeness, while also revealing how scared you are of it. It teaches the difference between attachment and real love. Attachment says, please do not leave me, because I need you to fill what is missing in me. Real love says, I want to meet you fully, while also learning how to stay whole within myself. And that shift changes everything. But here is the part most people miss. There comes a turning point in every connection like this, and usually it is not dramatic. It does not happen because they finally say the perfect words. It does not arrive through one magical conversation. It begins with a quiet choice inside you, the choice to stop waiting forever to be picked, and to start truly choosing yourself. That is where the energy changes. That is where the whole story begins to breathe differently. And if you have been waiting for a sign, maybe this is it. When you stop reaching for someone from fear, desperation, or emptiness, you stop becoming something they feel pressured to run from. Then for the first time, they are left alone with what they really feel about you. Not just what they fear, not just what they avoid, not just what they distract themselves from. What is truly there. And what is there may never have disappeared. Trust this. Nothing you felt during this waiting season was meaningless. None of it was wasted. I know there were moments when it felt wasted. Moments when you looked at all the love you gave and wondered if it vanished into nothing, if it touched anyone at all, if it was worth the ache. But love does not simply disappear, it leaves marks. Every quiet night you spent thinking of someone who was not beside you, every time you fell asleep with words still sitting in your chest, every tear you tried to hide, all of it shaped you in ways you may not fully see yet. That love is still real. It is deepening you. It is stretching your heart. It is preparing you to hold something extraordinary, if and when it arrives. And when you cry because something that feels so right also hurts this much, that is not weakness. Those tears often come from a heart that refuses to walk away from what feels deeply meaningful. That is courage. Many people close down when uncertainty lasts this long. Many people harden themselves to avoid more pain. It would have been easy for you to do the same. It would have been easy to build walls and call it strength. But you did not. You kept feeling. You kept caring. You kept hoping, even while part of you grew tired. That says something powerful about you, not because endless waiting is always noble, but because your ability to love stayed alive under pressure that might have shut other people down completely. Keep listening, because this next truth is important. Sometimes the main purpose of a connection is not immediate union. Sometimes it is growth first. Sometimes it is the lesson before the reward. And that lesson may be the most valuable part of the whole journey. Sometimes a bond like this is here to teach self-respect, emotional balance, healthy boundaries, and the strength to stay connected to your own value no matter what someone else chooses. Those lessons are not exciting while you are living them. They feel slow, they feel unfair, they feel lonely, but later they become priceless. Maybe that is what this chapter has really been teaching you. Not how to chase harder, not how to wait longer, not how to become more desirable, but how to come back home to yourself. How to stop measuring your worth by another person's availability. How to understand that your heart needs your care first, before it goes searching for care anywhere else. Because strong love is never built on fear. It cannot survive on anxiety, confusion, or self-sacrifice forever. Real love grows between two people who are learning to stand on their own, while still choosing each other. It grows when both people stop running from themselves. It grows when honesty feels safer than avoidance, and vulnerability becomes stronger than fear. No matter what happens next, do not ignore how much you have already changed. You are not the same person you were before this connection began. Your awareness is deeper now. Your heart is wider. Your understanding of yourself is richer, more complicated, more honest. Even the pain has shown you what matters most. And if there is one thing you should remember, let it be this: the love inside you should never ask you to leave yourself behind. The right connection will not require you to become smaller, quieter, or less alive, just to keep it from falling apart. It will invite you to become more fully who you are. It will support truth, not self-erasure. So keep moving forward. Keep caring if your heart still wants to care. Keep hoping if hope still feels real. But do not put your whole life on pause while waiting for someone else to become certain. Keep growing. Keep becoming. Keep choosing yourself every day. Because once you truly do that, everything starts to look different. And sometimes the moment you stop chasing what you fear losing, you realize that what is meant for you has been moving toward you the whole time. Many people get hurt so deeply by waiting that they slowly go quiet and shut parts of themselves down. The cost starts to feel too high. Maybe you had every reason to do that too. Honestly, nobody would have blamed you if you had. It would have made sense. But you chose something else. You stayed open when closing off would have been easier. You stayed soft when becoming hard was the simpler option. In a world that often rewards distance, coolness, and guarded hearts, your choice not to become numb is not weakness. It is rare strength. It is a form of courage. Many people never build because they stop trusting long before they get the chance. To love deeply without always counting what comes back to you is uncommon. That kind of love becomes the ground where meaningful relationships are built. You kept feeling. You kept caring. You kept your heart involved even when life gave you many reasons to walk away. That matters. To care for someone through confusion, through separation, through seasons where nothing feels solid and silence stretches on. And to do that without turning bitter, that takes something extraordinary. It cannot be faked. It is not borrowed from a book. It comes from somewhere deep inside a person, and you have it. That may be one of the most defining things about you. But hear this clearly. That gift is not leading you toward a future where you stay forever unsettled. It is not guiding you into a life of mixed signals, endless guessing, and emotional exhaustion. You are not moving toward a love that keeps you bracing for the next disappointment. You are not moving toward a connection where your feelings are always too big for the small space offered to hold them. You are moving toward something that fits, something natural, something that does not ask you to dim your light. A love that feels less like struggle, and more like finally taking a full breath after holding tension in your chest for too long. That is not just a nice image, it is a real possibility. But this is the turning point. So do not skip this part. It depends on what you choose now, not later. Now. So what does that choice actually look like? What do you do today, tomorrow, and in the days ahead? The answer is simple to say, and hard to live. You turn your attention back toward yourself. Not as an act, not as a trick to make somebody miss you, not as a silent message, not as a strategy to get a reaction. You genuinely bring your energy back home. You take some of the emotional investment that has been pouring outward and begin pouring it back into your own life. And then you ask yourself a question you may not have asked honestly in a long time. What do I truly need right now? Not what do they need, not what can I say differently, not how do I make them understand, not what would bring them back, soften them, or open them up. What do you need? What would actually feel nourishing for you today? Which parts of your life have been waiting quietly for your attention, while so much of your focus stayed fixed on something uncertain and a little out of reach? Start there. Fill those spaces. Say yes to yourself with some of the same energy you have been giving away. The dreams you delayed because your heart was too busy waiting. Go back to them. The experiences you postponed because everything inside you felt unfinished. Let yourself enjoy them now. The friends who faded into the background while your emotions stayed tied up somewhere else. Reach back out. The parts of yourself that have been sitting in the dark waiting to be noticed again. Bring them into the light and listen carefully, because this matters. None of this means pretending your feelings are gone. You do not need to lie to yourself. You do not have to force yourself not to care. You do not have to call something meaningless just to feel strong. This is not about denial. It is about expansion. It is about remembering that your whole life cannot be built around one person and one maybe. Your life is bigger than a single outcome. And when you start living like that again, something quiet but powerful begins to shift inside you. It is not dramatic at first. It rarely happens overnight. Most people do not notice it in the beginning, but it is real. You stop feeling like an unfinished sentence waiting for someone else to finish it. You stop feeling like your life is trapped inside a waiting room. You stop believing that everything important must remain on hold until this one situation finally becomes clear. Little by little, you feel whole again. You start to feel like a person whose life still carries purpose, color, movement, and meaning, no matter what one relationship is doing. You begin to feel grounded inside your own existence, instead of hanging from somebody else's uncertainty. And that grounded feeling changes your presence. People notice it, even if they cannot explain it. There is something unmistakable about a person who feels at home within themselves. It creates a quiet confidence, a calm strength, a kind of magnetism that does not need to chase. Real magnetism attracts. And yes, the person you have been loving will likely notice that shift too. Probably more than anyone. They will feel the difference, not because this is some technique to control them. Let that idea go. The last thing you need is another method built around manipulating someone's emotions. This is not manipulation. It is simply what happens when a person stops relating from emptiness and begins relating from fullness. The whole dynamic changes. The connection breathes in a new way. Space appears for something honest to grow that could not exist before. And there is something else you need to understand. They are not the villain of this story. I know the pain may have tempted you to see them that way. I know there were moments when the distance, the silence, the inconsistency made it easier to reduce everything into right and wrong. But people are rarely that simple. What looks like coldness is often something much more tangled. Many people learned long before they met you that love was dangerous, that closeness came with pain, that opening up meant loss. And once that lesson gets written into somebody's nervous system, it can shape everything. So what looks like withdrawal is often someone trying to manage an old fear they have carried for years. They may think about you more than you know. In the quiet moments between distractions, when there is no noise left to cover what they really feel, you are there. They may notice the absence of you, even during the very periods when they were the one creating the distance. Because what they feel is not only about physical closeness, it lives somewhere deeper than that. And the work they have not finished inside themselves is not your burden to carry. You cannot heal it for them, no matter how clearly you see what they need. No matter how much love you have to offer, no matter how badly you want to guide them through it. That journey belongs to them. Your power lies somewhere else. It lies in refusing to let their fear define your value. It lies in refusing to take their unresolved pain as proof that something is missing in you. Their struggle is their struggle. Their healing is their healing. Your worth remains whole regardless of where they are in their process. And there is a powerful image I want you to keep. Carry yourself with such steady self-respect, such clear dignity, that if they do move through what has been stopping them, what they find is not a version of you made smaller by waiting. Not someone drained by longing, not someone begging for validation they should have given themselves. Let what they find be someone grounded, someone bright, someone whole, someone standing firmly in their own light. Stay with me, because this next picture may speak directly to your heart. Imagine a morning not so far from now. You wake up and the first thing you notice is that the weight is gone. That heavy pressure in your chest that lived there so long you almost forgot it was there. The ache is gone, not because you stopped loving, not because you numbed yourself, not because you forced yourself to move on. The weight is gone because the love finally has somewhere to land. Imagine turning toward this person and really seeing them, their face, their eyes, and notice what is different. The hesitation is gone, the conflict is gone. That familiar look of someone being near you while still holding part of themselves back is no longer there. In its place is peace, quiet peace, the kind that belongs to someone who has fully chosen and is no longer fighting themselves. Someone who is not managing their feelings, not keeping one foot outside the door, not hiding behind confusion, just fully there. Imagine what it feels like to know a love that no longer wakes you up at 2 in the morning with anxiety. A love that does not make you replay old conversations, search for hidden meanings, or ask what you did wrong. Imagine a love that lets your nervous system rest. A love where you are not reading signs all day. A love where you are not preparing for disappointment before it even arrives. A love where uncertainty is no longer sitting beside you like a shadow. Imagine what it feels like when the question of whether you are enough simply disappears. Not because you spent years proving your worth, but because you are with someone who never doubted it, someone who sees you fully. The polished parts, the messy parts, the parts still healing, the parts you are proud of, and the parts you are still learning to understand. And they choose all of it, not while wishing you were different, not while asking you to shrink. They choose all of it, because it is you. And this is not a fantasy built only to comfort you. It is what becomes possible when two people each commit to healing themselves, when they stop expecting the other person to repair everything life has damaged, when they take responsibility for their own growth, when they spend enough time learning themselves that they become truly available for something real. That is what may be getting built, quietly, even now. In the waiting, in the confusion, in the parts of the story where progress still looks invisible. Every day you choose self-care instead of fear. You place another piece in the foundation of lasting love. Every time you choose peace over panic, self-respect over self-abandonment, and growth over obsession, you strengthen that foundation. Do not let the pain of this middle chapter convince you that the ending does not exist. The middle is almost always the hardest part. It is the stage where the finish line is hidden, the stage where people doubt everything, the stage where many give up because they cannot yet see what is forming. But if you take one thing with you from all of this, let it be simple. Keep your heart open, but keep your life moving. Love deeply, if that is still true for you, but do not disappear inside the waiting. Care, but also create. Hope, but also live. Feel, but also return to yourself again and again. Because the shift you need is not out there, it begins in you. And sometimes that inner shift changes everything outside you in ways you could never have forced. Sometimes when you stop chasing, stop begging, stop trying to hold together what fear has been tearing apart, what is meant for you finally has room to reach you, maybe slowly, maybe quietly, but truly. So today, breathe, eat well, rest, reconnect, make plans, touch the parts of your own life that have been waiting for you. Let your world become wide again. Let your joy return in small pieces if it must. Let your strength come back one honest choice at a time. And if this message found you at the exact moment you needed it, take that as your reminder. You do not have to abandon love to choose yourself. You do not have to stop caring to start healing. You do not have to lose hope to reclaim your peace. Sometimes the real beginning happens the moment you come back home to your own heart. And if you are still here, then maybe some part of you already knows. The story is not over. Not even close.